Hello and welcome back to the Double Radio Gamescast. As always, I'm your host Ryan, and I'm joined today by my lovely cohort of co-hosts.
Good job.
Look, it's been a long day. Alex,
It has.
Oh,
Brett,
you're getting any of that sound? It's a cup of ice and aloe.
Guacamole.
and Wyatt.
Honey, I joined a cult.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I gotta say.
Wizard with
That's
a
it.
gun.
Title.
That's all I've got.
All right, so just to fill everyone in on what this episode is, this is our mid E3 episode, which means things are a little bit out of whack for this. We're not going to do our normal shenanigans, and by not going to do it, I mean we're totally going to do it. It's just going to be at the end of the show instead.
And it's gonna be. We're gonna try to keep it short. Is the point?
Yeah, we're going to try to keep this podcast about under an hour, or around that length, not the 2 hours that we normally go for. Just because we're going to do a more conclusive thoughts on E3 once the entire show has concluded. We're recording this on Sunday, so it's only been about halfway through. But we're going to talk about the stuff we've been seeing so far, and the highlights, lowlights, and Gearbox.
The freezing cold taste of podcast bites.
Yep, we've got reactions up for Xbox and the Summer Games Fest Kickoff Live, and we'll have some up for the Nintendo Direct as well as soon as that happens. But we're going to go over our thoughts to the rest of everything right now. So, I'm going to put this out to everyone. What's your personal pick so far been of like the game that you are least interested in?
Least?
The game
that I'm
the
least
game that
interested
showed
in.
up and you immediately fell asleep, or that you're just questioning what happened.
Ooh.
I need to remember the candidates for this. Even.
I
This
think
is the one that we
hard.
immediately forgot or fell asleep to. It's gone, isn't it?
I mean, immediately, what comes to mind is any sports game because it's just not.
Yeah.
interesting
You know what? I'll
at
rephrase
all.
it. It's not the most boring, but the thing that you are most confused as to why you saw it, wherever
Okay.
it was.
You know what? I have one for that, and it was in the Squeenix bit, which I was surprised. I thought they'd be pretty okay or like a funny sort of ridiculous. Maybe it's just complete absurdism went over my head, but the Final Fantasy Origins game where it's just three guys again, and the guy I'm here to kill chaos. I want to kill chaos. My only mission in life is to kill chaos. And chaos is just a guy with his sword and some armor.
That wasn't
on a
Chaos
chair.
though. That was a different guy.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
Garland.
he said
Yeah.
that
Is
was
that supposed to mean
Garland, but
something?
it used to
from
be
Final Fantasy
no.
1?
He used to be Garland, but now he is chaos.
Are you Chaos?
That's what he said.
Am I Chaos?
Are we all chaos?
Who's chaos?
This is a Chaos podcast.
My hardcore opinion is that they showed Final Fantasy Origins too early.
Yes.
But
Yes.
what makes me even more
I-
confused is that a demo is going out today.
Yes.
I insanely dig the crystal finishers of that they
Those
showed
are
off.
brutal.
Yeah, they look
But-
great.
I can't bring myself to buy the game where it's just going, I have to kill chaos.
I'm sure in game there's probably like
A
an
lot
hour
more.
of things happening between every time he says that, but just only that for the trailer was very like my biggest problem with that game is like, okay, you have Garland who looks vaguely like the crazy big like horn helmet or whatever that you'd see from the concept artist, and then you have like three guys that show up in like a t-shirt and
Yeah.
chains to come defeat him. It's like, what? Okay,
Mike,
you're telling me that Jerry from down the street is gonna kill chaos? Where's the like? Give him like a. There's nothing interesting about this character. Like, what happened?
They went to the
Square?
Final Fantasy 15 School of Design, and it's
I know.
why did they do that when they had some cool Final Fantasy 1 style armor?
I know.
and it's not
I
even
don't
like
know.
they went to
Those
just the regular
design
Final. They went to the
tools
Final
don't mix.
Fantasy 15 side character design parlor.
Ugh. All the trio of main characters in there at best look like NPCs.
It's yeah. I think like the one guy that had like a headband on or something looked vaguely interesting, but
I wonder if there's going to be like a create a character, because that knowing Team Ninja's
Maybe.
games, maybe that's where they're going, and they were showing like the presets.
Yeah,
I could see
maybe.
that,
I
but
guess
even
we'll
then, it's
find
a
out in the demo,
confusing
right?
choice. It is a confusing choice, and I do think like my biggest concern point with Origins so far, Strangers of Paradise or something like that, Final Fantasy Origins.
Oh yeah,
It's got such a
Yeah.
title.
What a weird title.
It's so
is
long.
that gonna be in our next title game?
It's gonna be great.
Maybe.
Was that it looked like a lot of the hits just didn't have a ton of impact,
A little.
which is confusing because this is Team Ninja. Like that is what Neo does so well. Is you can have weapons that like entirely specialize in not doing health damage. That you just hit them so hard and they constantly stun lock that you just insta kill them after a certain point. Like that's an entire like class of weapons in that game. So
There's cutting someone in half, and then there's brain damage.
and then there's using your tonfa to smash the enemy's skull in, and it's great. So I'm a little concerned that Origins looks like it maybe is coming out a bit half baked right now, or at least the way they're presenting it is not showing it off in a way that is good.
I don't know why I also got this vibe. It also just feels like an 8 to 10 hour game for some
I
reason.
doubt it. I highly doubt
Maybe
it. This
maybe
is Team
that's
Ninja.
in the way that I think maybe that's just in the way that they showed the setting wise, because it's just they're
Correct me
they
if I'm
introduced the
wrong, Brett,
characters
but
right at
this
the
is
castle.
this is Final Fantasy 1 related, yes?
It's supposed to be.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
And
sure.
doesn't Final
It's
Fantasy 1 have
supposed
this
to be.
weird like time loop thing going on?
I'm gonna say I think because I haven't played that one
It's-
yet because it's Final Fantasy 1.
From my knowledge, Final Fantasy 1 has this crazy time loop where like every single time the reason the big bad is like a big bad is like that it's every universe you have to defeat the big bad, and like every universe
Oh.
is something crazy like that.
Jesus.
So I'm wondering if they're gonna tie that into like some weird roguelite type of loop. I could see that happening.
That'd be interesting.
But Team Ninja like specializes right now in Souls-likes. They do Neo. They do a lot of action games, and most of them are very lengthy. Like Neo is a 100+ hour experience if you really go for it. So I would be surprised if they're putting out a short game. Although, who knows? It's Square Enix. They do unpredictable things.
I can confirm that there is time travel in Final Fantasy 1 of all places.
Yep. I mean,
So,
all
you
good
know.
JRPGs gotta involve a bit of time travel.
Oh, and yeah, I see on his wiki page there is a whole tab called Becoming Chaos. So there we go.
All right, great.
Oh, there's a place called World A. Yeah, I'm done. I'm out
You're
of here.
at the end of the
Oh
loop.
god.
When I see World A, I don't even want to find out what other letters there are.
I cannot wait to unravel whatever craziness Tetsuya Nomura and Nojima have contrived for us this time.
God
After
almighty.
it gets past Z, they go into double letters and they start turning Greek.
Yep. All right. Who else is something just really confusing that they want to talk about?
Anytime someone mentioned a video game movie, I
Video
just
game movie.
I mean there was the Borderlands.
It kept happening too.
There was the Borderlands one. Yeah, well that was did you watch the Gearbox thing? They basically
I
opened with
Don't
they
think I did.
basically
You
opened
didn't
with
miss
Randy
anything
Pitchford.
else.
No. They basically opened with Randy Pitchford just bothering everyone on the set of their Borderlands movie.
Oh wait, that
trying to
was
get work done.
right. He came to Kevin Hart's trailer and there was a really forced conversation.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ah,
There was
yeah,
that
that looked cringe as yeah.
yeah, Ubisoft had Werewolves Within or whatever it's
Werewolves
called.
Within, I'm kind of down for.
Is
But
that
not
the
here.
vampire
I don't care.
werewolf like PvP game or something? Wasn't there like a vampire PvP game
Yep.
too?
That's what it's based on.
That and then also they talked about Mythic Quest season 2, which I heard wasn't very good.
Yeah,
so
Mythic
whatever.
Quest. I don't know why it was there.
Yeah, just anytime they talked about a TV show or a movie or something, I just kind of powered down for a bit.
There was Free
I don't
Guy
think it was-
at the
I don't think
kickoff.
Oh yeah, Free Guy. Oh
Yeah.
god.
What about the Avatar game It's like
That's
instead
my
of
confusing
games,
thing.
movies, games.
That's actually what I was gonna say, because so I don't know if you guys read the report about what this game actually is supposed to be, but it's a first-person game.
Really?
Okay.
And
I guess I saw that in the tiny short clips of you ducking under a tree.
I have
with that,
no clue what this game is gonna be, and it's so confusing because it doesn't fit any notions of what Ubisoft is gonna do, and I think it's gonna go either the direction of the most generic thing they have ever made, and it will be like the worst live service crap fest that they've done, or it's gonna be a really interesting like pseudo RPG type deal.
How would you explain pseudo RPG?
I always thought the
like RPG
world of
light
Avatar
type thing, like having some RPG elements in a Ubisoft thing. Basically, what they've been doing. But
I always thought the world of Avatar would make an interesting, like could make a fun video game, like for setting.
Wouldn't you go to third person first?
It would make a beautiful video game.
Because like the movement of yourself and all the animals is like a huge part of Avatar. So it seems like.
Well, I kind of see where I think where they're coming from is like the thing that really made an impact on people with Avatar was like the world, right? And I get what you're saying, but their mindset maybe the best way.
And it could also, they could also logic it like, you are. I don't think it's the case where it's the same. You're the soldier in the body of a Navi. But either way, it's like the neural link type thingy. Seeing through their eyes, that kind of stuff. They could logic out through that.
I mean, I think it's a prequel.
It is,
which is
though
even
there
more
are
confusing,
still soldiers on there.
That's what I don't get. Like, this is being billed as like a prequel, and this first-person game. I guess what I'm saying is Ubisoft. Show me some gameplay so I know what this game is.
Yeah. There was nothing.
That was a recurring
it was
issue
just
with Ubisoft conference.
Visuals. There was no explanation whatsoever.
Yep.
It looks pretty, but I need a little bit more information to go on of like, what is this? And to be honest, it kind of seemed that like they were showing the game to show it, not because they had something to show. Whereas like I think Riders Republic had a lot to actually show, whereas the Avatar game just kind of got announced, but we've known it's existed for like the last 4 years or so. So I don't know.
Well, it may be a situation where they've been working on it, right? But they realize they don't have much to show off at their own E3 press conference, so they like kind of included it just to add something more to the show, which is why we didn't see anything.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's what it felt like to me, anyway.
Which that kind of felt like it to me when I forget exactly what the game was called, and I'm pretty sure it was during the Gearbox thing. How they just like kept cutting back to like Homeland or whatever. Like they just like they show the first little like teaser of it. There hasn't been a this game since like 2007 or whatever. Like this is like super old. We're finally making a new one. Okay, cool teaser. And then like 10 minutes later, whatever Wonderland's thing, and then another trailer or something, and then they show another teaser for the same game that still doesn't have any gameplay in it and has like footage of a spaceship and the dev talking about it in buzzword language.
They double dipped on teasers?
They like quadruple dipped. They showed the same game like 4 times in like intermittent teasers, and I was like,
what
guys,
was the title of this one?
Shut up! I don't care. I think it's Homeland or like Homelander, something like that. Homeland? I don't know. I think I would remember it with how many times.
Helen Wonder Homeland.
I think I know the game you're talking about. It, yeah.
I don't know.
I don't even remember what you're talking about.
It literally just it's slipped into it. They like subliminally added it to their presentation.
Which presentation?
Like, Gearbox.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sure
the Gearbox one, after a few minutes of it, just started to glaze into a half sleep state. So
it put me into a comatose state, dude.
Homeworld
it was an hour long.
Is that what you're talking about?
Oh, Homeworld
3?
Homeworld, yeah. There we go. Thank you.
Homeworld is weird.
Frequencies to make you zone out.
Homeworld is super weird too, because like they were showing footage of the remastered collection, which has been out for like the last 2 years.
Oh, so it wasn't even new things.
Well, they're making Homeworld 3. So I think they were just showing that while they're making Homeworld 3. But those devs are also doing Hard
but
Space
guys-
Shipbreaker. So they're working on
God.
multiple projects and they're a small team.
Jesus.
That might
Yeah,
be why.
but guys, how are you not excited about Godfall DLC?
Oh, shut up.
That's not even DLC. It's a free expansion that's gonna be, the PS4 version.
Yeah, for the 6 people that ever played that game.
That game just
But
needs a price
Godfall.
cut really badly. I could see that game getting some modicum of success at like $20.
Well,
Maybe.
we were talking about being surprised by, oh, that's Matt Mercer's voice on the Square Enix thing. Did any of those other voices sound familiar? Did it sound like Mark Hamill was one of the characters in that?
In
Mark
what?
Hamill was not there. I don't think Mark Hamill was involved.
Okay.
Mark Hamill does a surprising amount of game voices, so I wouldn't be surprised if he showed up somewhere, but I don't think we'd be able to prove it was him. Just because
He
we
would
don't have
never
like,
admit
we
it.
don't have cast lists of these things.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So we talked about the game that was confusing. So far, what's been highlights? And we're gonna go into more detail about like specific highlights and like our game of the show and whatnot at the end, because of course we still have like 2 full days of conferences left. But so far, I think we've all seen a lot of stuff that we're into. So
I don't know if I can limit it to just one, to be honest.
Well,
I was gonna do a quick top 3 when it came.
Yeah,
to me.
we'll do top
probably.
3. You know what? That seems like a good way to do it. So I'm gonna say, Wyatt, you are ready.
Yeah. Back for Blood is one of them. I'm really looking for. I just want more Left 4 Dead style games out there. I want it to become like a pretty prominent genre. So I was pretty excited for that. I'm looking through my list here because y'all know my memory sucks. So I'm trying my hardest to
Welcome to the club.
Yeah. I'm trying really hard to keep up. Guardians of the Galaxy looked great.
Mm.
I was worried at first that it would be like super similar to
Avengers.
Avengers. It had had that very similar, like they kind of look like the MCU characters.
The
but kind of
non-face
not.
sprites.
Yeah, it felt very similar at first, but it actually looks super interesting. And with like branching storyline and like choices,
It looks
which
like
I
that-
wasn't expecting. And
It
that's
looks
kind
like there's a
it's-
light little bit of that, which I'm interested in.
And then, oh god, hold on. This is so embarrassing. This list is probably gonna change. This list is probably gonna change when we do our full roundup when I've had more time to like let things sink in a little bit. But we're
Having a good time there, Wyatt.
I have all these lists. I have all these lists open, and like I'm trying to
To read them.
Well, I'm trying to look for. Why is my memory just the worst thing? Let's talk about how bad my memory is while I'm stalling for time and trying to find everything.
Wyatt's memory
that
is
was-
so bad. How bad is it? I don't know.
It's as bad
it's
as
not even as
Gearbox's
good.
E3 presentation.
It's
Oh.
not as bad as
Please don't cut a goldfish in half.
I hope no one has noticed that I'm eating dinner right now. I'm very sorry if any of that has come through.
No,
I'm trying
you're fine.
fast.
No, I
Okay,
can't
good.
hear the sweet sound of your lips.
Look, I think you can all
Ah.
tell at this point that like all of us have been watching conferences all day.
Yeah,
I know our brains are destroyed.
No, this is a perfect. My brain is just is like mashed potato.
Well, Wyatt, we'll
you know
come
what
back
I'm
to
saying?
you. Who else
All right,
has
screw
got
it.
some
Halo.
top-
All right, screw it. Halo Infinite, I thought had a pretty
Mhm.
good
I don't think-
showcase. To be honest with you, there was some story threads that seemed really interesting. Multiplayer, which is going to get more of like a dedicated live stream later on, was looking pretty sweet. I think a lot of the armor they were showing off is really cool and a lot better than like the typical 343 Spartan armor design. I think visually the game looks a lot better than when they showed it off to us originally, and I was already sold on the gameplay from that first demo. So yeah, looking
It
pretty good.
looks and feels like a Halo game, which I think is
A
more than
vast
I thought that I would
improvement.
say about it. Yeah,
It's making me
I
actually
think I missed
look forward to
some
playing
stuff
it.
about the
Yes,
main
it
game. Was
was.
there story influence and things?
There
I
was
saw the
there was
multiplayer.
some
Ooh, that's nice.
teases.
I'm pretty
here and
sure. I'm pretty sure they just like completely retconned 5's existence.
Huh.
Like from the way that that not Cortana was talking, it seems like they completely retconned 5.
Yeah, they're going
Which I think
hardcore
is-
away from it.
I
Which
agree
I
with that
don't-
decision.
What
Yeah,
happened?
I don't blame them at all.
What happened? In five?
Also, brief.
Nothing.
Oh God, what? Exactly. Ain't that a question? Also, just briefly want to give a shout out to the Pirates of the Caribbean crossover with Sea of Thieves.
Yes.
I thought that was awesome.
Wyatt and I lost it when that started showing.
That was great. Yeah,
It
that
looks super fun. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right. I'll go next because I've got 3 ready. The number 1 for me right now on this list is that indie game we saw in the Xbox conference called Replaced. That hyper stylized pixel art platformer that looks like it had crazy action combat. I want to play that. That is
Yeah,
that
that
is a
looked
game
cool.
I want injected into my veins right now.
The pixels, they're in my blood.
Look, I'm a fan of any game that gives me some form of like gun kata type deal, and that was going on in spades there. So that is right up my alley. I'm very much in the camp with Wyatt that I think and Brett that Halo Infinite looks vastly improved. So I think that's just going to be a good. It's a good faith showing that they're working on the game, and I think the release date being like the full year afterwards shows that they're actually putting the work in, and they've still got like a solid amount of time left. So I think we're gonna get a pretty good, at least multiplayer experience. I'm still iffy on the campaign because I want to see the structure of it.
Yeah.
That's my big thing. Is I don't want any more story details. I just want to know what is the structure of the campaign. Is it mission based? Is it this weird overworld type deal? Like what's going on? Because the way they're billing it is it's just super strange.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like Halo 1
They haven't really
open
given
levels.
us a solid answer.
Exactly. Like at this point, we should know what type of game the single player is, especially considering the multiplayer is free to play. So your price tag is the single player, which makes me very curious as to what that is.
Don't forget, I still don't think they've addressed the whole colors costing money thing, have they? I'm still worried about that customization.
I am worried about the
multiplayer
multiplayer free to play bits.
Yeah.
That's concerning. I think it'll be fun.
It's a thing where like, oh well, it's just customization, so it's not affecting the gameplay. But like, yeah, you don't understand how much of Halo is the customization. Like that was the progression.
Well,
it's such a huge part of like, especially Reach.
When they had armor customization.
Especially
I know.
when you
Of
play
course.
Halo 5 and you realize, especially when you play Halo 5 that had like almost no customization and you realize how much you miss it.
The beta of 5 had really good customization and then they removed it. I don't know why.
All right. And my final big baby that showed up on stage, I gotta shout out Elden Ring at some point. You can't just dance around Elden Ring. Look,
you can't. It's impossible.
I think the internet broke for good reason when that showing happened, because I think a lot of people just thought this game didn't exist at this point. Like, actually didn't exist. And I think it's incredible that it didn't leak. Like, that's the big thing. We didn't get the leaked trailer that we saw here. We got, like, leaked footage a long time ago, but a lot of the animations were reused from Dark Souls, and it looked like prototype footage that someone had ripped. So to see that the game is in the state that they showed it off in, of, like, it looked near complete, I am a lot happier now that that game has a release date in January. I thought this would probably be like a late 2022 game, not an early 2022. So I'm a happy camper in that I'm getting more Souls-like action from FromSoft, because nobody has managed to nail that type yet, and I'm really excited to see what changes they're making. I'm hoping they don't just stick to like Souls-like progression and actually change some ways of how meta progression and stuff works so that it feels unique. While still retaining that kind of FromSoft identity. That trailer was impressive. It looked really good. So,
yeah,
very pleased with that. All right, who's ready?
I can go next and just continue the Elden Ring discussion because I it has been a long time since I've been like this excited for a game. And my hype was like totally tempered for the longest time. Where like I would check the Elden Ring subreddit just to see all the people like saying that they hollowed and stuff. And I was still like waiting for it, but I didn't think it was like the game isn't real anymore or whatever. Just like, man, they're taking a really stupid long time with it, and I just kind of want them to show it already because I mean, like it's annoying. I want to see it. I want to see the next game. But like, my God, people are in like the comments of the trailer and stuff saying that it doesn't like graphically look good, and I do not know what is wrong with their eyeballs, but I think they need to get them removed and thrown in the garbage because like those environments, man, there's not a single world in any game
Dude,
that looks
and the
that good.
effects. The
I
moment
know.
that dragon like reached into the sky and caught lightning, I was like, "What is
pulled
happening?"
red lightning out of it? Oh my God, it looks so awesome. I'm really like, I'm hoping that they go for the small like chunks of open world kind of thing that Tsushima did, and some other games have done that.
Yeah,
Just because I feel like trying to bite off a whole big thing at once with the kind of detail that FromSoft is going to want to handle is just going to be too much for even them. And I really don't want that game to be like a boring slog. I want it to be nicely split up.
yeah.
So
They've had a lot of time
that-
for Elden Ring.
That's definitely my
and I
number
think
one.
even if
Yeah,
the
for
game
sure.
like I kind of when I saw the trailer, I kind of saw it as like a Tsushima situation where, from a technical perspective, it's not the most impressive thing in the world, but from an art direction
Yes.
perspective, it's like out of this
Exactly.
world.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what they're picking up on, but that's not.
Well, I
when
think
you
it's
have
because
an- when
Demon
you have an art
Souls
style.
is out, and Demon Souls does, I think, clearly look graphically a little bit better. In that, like,
But
stylistically, I think there's a very clear difference between the two,
Yes.
and it's just they're nailing that tone in the Elden
Yeah,
Ring show.
exactly.
Or Elden Ring show,
and-
the Elden Ring trailer.
it was pretty much the Elden Ring show,
Yep.
Yeah,
kind of.
And I mean, we
the,
haven't even mentioned yet the open environments. I think are going to be huge.
Yeah.
Like
Oh yeah.
those larger environments with a horse to move around, and just the world looking like it's a lot more sprawling and like sprawled out, and just a lot larger. At least like size wise, so you have more trekking to do, almost another like Shadow of the Colossus type way. I think would be very fun in FromSoft game.
I
So,
think Shadow of the Colossus is going to end up being a really good comparison in the end. That was a good thing to bring up.
yeah, because I definitely don't think it's going to be like a Red Dead or GTA where it's just like a huge map.
Oh yeah.
I think it's going to be like they're using the size to convey the like enormity of certain things.
Which is the way that a FromSoft game should be done.
Exactly.
In that regard, I think.
right.
My number two. I mean, I'm like repeating other people's things, but I am genuinely excited about this. Like, no one knew this game existed other than like rumors, and everyone was like, "Oh, well, the Avengers game sucks, so I really hope they don't reveal this." But then they revealed Guardians of the Galaxy, and it just actually looks like
Yeah.
fantastic
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
They showed a trailer and they talked about it and they played the game in like a 20-minute period, and it wasn't
was-
boring because it just looked like a
I
fantastic
also
game.
want to say
There was gameplay.
that is how you announce a freaking
Oh, yeah.
video game.
Yeah,
by
like,
the
I'm
it
way.
comes out this
imagine-
year.
Imagine if Starfield's
Perfect.
announcement was like that.
Oh
The
my
excitement
god!
that there would be. Oh,
If there's ever a model to release to announce and show off your game, that is perfect. You have everything. You have a hype trailer in the beginning, you have some devs talking about it and kind of behind the scenes stuff, and then you have just straight up gameplay
Yes.
with UI. Perfect. It's exactly what we talk about whenever we talk about presentations and
and
stuff like that.
when the
or
devs are like
showing off the game.
talking,
That's
they're
how you do
talking
it.
over footage and like presentations. They're not just
Mhm.
talking
And it's not
heads.
replayed footage; it's new footage.
Yep.
Oh my god!
Yep.
And
The
it
trailer's
seems
gotten
so
very good.
simple.
I'm also a huge fan of,
I-
of games that are like shooters in third person, but don't use what looks like traditional twin stick aim,
Yes.
point and shoot.
Yeah.
It looks like this looked like an action brawler, but at range, which was fun.
It looked like Devil May
Mhm.
Cry.
Yeah, I'm excited to see
It's
how
cool to
it all
see-
works.
It's cool that they decided to add squad mechanics to it, which I thought
Yes,
was a
definitely.
nice touch.
that's
And it
what-
looks like you can actually combo them together, which was great.
It's the thing that was
Yeah.
pointed out is that like every party member essentially was their own button, and then that also had another layer of buttons to get them to do like specific things, which is perfect. Like that's a great amount of
Yeah.
complexity for it.
And now I'm not going to claim that I know anything about the comics because I mostly just know the movies, of course. But
Yeah.
based on what I think of in terms of like the personality of the Guardians of the Galaxy, I think they got it pretty right here. Like they were clearly aiming for more of like the movie, this MCU portrayal than the comic portrayal, right? And
I think the
they got
MCU
that
tone
pretty
and
well.
a more of a comic look was kind of what they were going
Yes,
for.
I can agree with that.
Well,
My
I
only thing, they kind of have that Avengers thing of like these kind of that being said, I on their own they're good character designs. I think it has a bit of that MCU or that like Marvel's Avengers like it looks kind of like them and kind of not, and it's a little distracting. But on their own, they're good designs.
For me, I think it's just Star-Lord that feels like that. I think the rest are a lot more comic accurate, and to me,
Gamora was pretty comic.
Oh,
comic
Gamora. Yeah, her outfit is exactly the way that it is in the
Yeah.
comics.
I think she looks great.
It was mostly Star Lord. It was mostly Star Lord, and it was mostly I thought.
I didn't
Rocket looks fairly
remember
similar to
Rocket
his
having a
MCU
little braid on his
counterpart.
chin beard, but
Well, there's
I
mean, yeah.
changes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. There's changes, and I like the. And again, they're good designs on their own. It's just to me, it was hard to like separate them at times, and it was just a little strange. But I don't see that being an issue,
I don't think there
to be honest.
is outfit customization or different armor options.
There
But
is.
There are.
good. Oh, there
Yes,
is.
there are.
Oh,
Yeah, because pre-ordering gives you two Star-Lord outfits that don't look incredible, but they're different.
Huh.
Yeah, it definitely looks like they'll be some
Because
outfits.
I'd never seen Guardians of the Galaxy comic before, but there was like a few of those where he had like a cool like Stahlheim helmet on the back
yeah,
of his mask.
his full helmet. Yeah,
Yeah, that looks so sick. I really hope they have a skin that
Mhm.
looks like that because I'll definitely use that. And
Star Lord does have a bit of a punchable face, though.
I think it's the hairdo. I think it's the hair
Yeah.
that doesn't
Yeah,
do it.
the hairdo looks. It's like the weird updo fade kind of deal,
Yeah.
but it's a little
It
too
kind
high.
of looked like
for
Troy
me.
Baker's hair.
It looked like Troy
But of
Baker,
all-
but like larger.
Of all the
if
things
Troy Baker was scaled
to
wide a
complain
little
about,
bit.
of all the things to complain about, if you're nitpicking about Star-Lord's hair, I think you probably
Yeah, I mean,
got
it's
it
pretty good showing.
Like I
in
said,
terms of
yeah,
how it looks.
overall, it was one of my picks. I loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it.
All right.
And my
What else
last
you got?
one, I have one more. My last one is.
That's why I said, what else you
I was
got,
very. I was. My hope and humanity was restored a little bit when they showed off how like in depth the sandbox was in Battlefield 2042. That game looks like a very fun game to play.
Surprise reveal or
Definitely.
surprise gameplay reveal. That was shocking.
I that game actually looks like fun. They didn't show off too much of like the gunplay. They kind of stuck to yes, you can stick C4 on an ATV and drive it up a ramp and then blow it up on a helicopter.
Yes, we
Those
have
were
a
the
grappling
questions
hook.
that I had, Brett.
Yes.
We have a
Which-
grappling hook, dude. I freaked out. I like walked away.
Yeah,
From
why would
my
they
desk
take that
when I saw
away?
that.
Because they make good decisions, Alex. They only make good decisions at Dice.
If you think it's
only
bad,
good
then you
decisions.
just don't understand Battlefield.
You just don't get it. You don't get it. It's too complex for you. But yeah, it does. Like, it's not a game that I'm like dying over, but it's one that I keep thinking about. Like, I want to play that. Yeah, those are my three.
All right. Hey, Alex.
Hey, Ryan.
You know what that leaves?
Yeah, shoutouts.
You. No, you need to do your three.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So first one is Guardians of the Galaxy, continuing that a bit because it just looks good, and I mean, not just looks good. All the prior points that Brett hit on. Also, it's been a really long time since I've had a good. Wait, no, it hasn't. I was gonna say I was about to say it's been a really long time since I've had a good superhero game, but I have I still have yet to play Miles Morales, and I had Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Keep going, Alex. What else you got?
I'm just looking forward to it. The other two are the other two are things that I really don't see myself playing, but I'm still excited for, I guess, in some way or another.
I mean, that's a lot of what E3 is.
Yeah, like the new Forza game. I am
Definitely
not a racing game person, especially with realism, but like realistic car things to worry about. But ooh, that looks
What a pretty
beautiful.
game.
What a beautiful game. Oh my goodness. And God, there's that. There's the different weather things. Something about a campaign which I didn't know Forza games had looked pretty okay. Voice acting was very nice.
I mean, Horizon has always had campaign. Yeah, that's not new.
But I'm not a racing game person.
Play some Horizon, Alex. Grab it on Game Pass. It's fun. Let's do it.
I do not have Xbox, Ryan.
But you have PC.
Yeah.
So you don't have an excuse.
All the Game Pass stuff is also on PC. It's not just Xbox.
Oh.
You forget they're one and the same now.
Oh yeah.
You fool.
What? So that and just the really interesting, I guess, sort of not PvP, the different multiplayer aspect to the game as well. I thought they did some really interesting things with, impromptu challenges or mini games that you're able to spawn in. I thought just a lot of that looked really cool.
They have a whole like user created content thing that they're
Yeah.
going to be working on too, which looks great.
Yeah. The bowling alley in the sky.
They also have tons
Forza.
of Horizon 4 introduced a bunch of like co-op PvE type events where you're like racing to do a specific goal of like you collectively with everyone in the server need to go through and jump like this amount of miles within like 10 minutes. So everyone's just like racing to find the highest point they can and just like jump off. It's really fun. With lots of cool like emergent world events like that.
I just think it looks like a really fun multiplayer experience.
Good
and
setting
a beautiful
too.
one at that. Yeah.
I want to give a shout out to Mexico for the setting. Like that is a setting I would not have thought of for Forza.
Shout out to Mexico for your geography.
I mean, like we're getting marsh, we're getting desert, like a lot of environments that haven't been in a Horizon game. So
we're getting pretty nice cityscapes too. City and
forest.
Some nice like haciendas and towns. It also like the volcano area looked great.
I like the fact that they're also like showcasing art from the region as well with the scannable murals.
Tons of cool stuff.
What was my other one? Third one, I guess, is a little bit of this game looks interesting, and also is sort of just like is somewhat somber relief. Redfall.
Yeah, that was looking pretty sweet.
Which is it looks. We didn't see any gameplay. Premise looks really fun. All the powers look fun to use. I like the visual style. I'm always down for some vampire
The creature
hunting.
design looked great. Like I loved the look of the vampires. Definitely.
I love the little friend bot so much.
Oh god, Brian knows I was swooning over that thing the entire time. I loved him.
The little man.
Loved him.
Yeah, like
good characterization.
I haven't seen any gameplay. The abilities look fun to use.
Yeah.
The different, I'm assuming classes or like the certain player
something like that
thingies. There's that. I guess the relief is like the somber bit of like, this is finally over. Is the weight of Redfall is not the Elder Scrolls 6 title. I didn't assume there was going to be any Elder Scrolls 6 news about it here. And I was like, okay, so it's not Redfall is not linked to Elder Scrolls, but yeah, this looks pretty cool. Fitting name.
I do gotta say, you tell me the words arcane and immersive sim in the same sentence, instantly in. I don't need anything else. Especially when
They're
you
probably
then
gonna do a
show
good
it
job.
with like co-op and like it looks like basically operators that have unique skills and whatnot.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
I think
I
it
love
definitely looks really cool.
Another one of the things that I love is just the like how I love the details of this game. Like one of the guns is just stakes.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a gun that fires like a beam of light.
Yeah.
Where it literally like it
Yeah, I
looks like
think
they
it's like a
tailored
UV
weapons
gun
to fight
specifically for-
vampires specifically, which is a really cool
It looks so cool.
detail. I want to see gameplay. That's my big thing because it's coming pretty soon.
Yeah.
I think they said 2022, so
Yeah, that worried me.
I want to see some gameplay. I think we will because I have a feeling Xbox is gonna probably do another show sometime around January.
Mhm.
At
Did
some
they
point.
say when in 2022 or just 2022?
I don't recall. Let me look it up. I think it was sooner than we thought because I remember you and I going like, "Huh, that's pretty soon."
Yeah.
So it's not far. But yeah, it definitely looked interesting.
Also, while we're talking about the Xbox show, shout out to the Xbox show having a better showcase for Far Cry 6 than Ubisoft.
Yeah.
I know.
I mean, really. Summer
It's
2022, so Redfall is 1 year away, exactly, basically.
okay. So what they might do is like have a big E3 thing,
Shadow drop at
and
E3.
then announce it. Yeah,
Shadow drop
that
at
would be
E3.
great. That would be great. Honestly, I would love that.
Yeah, continue.
But continue. Those were my three.
Yeah,
We've done it.
Yeah. Wait.
we did.
We were
Guardians
talking
of the
about Far
Galaxy,
Cry.
Forza.
We were talking about Far Cry.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were saying Far Cry showed better at Xbox than Oops.
Yeah. I'm liking what I'm seeing from Far Cry 6. I know it's Ubisoft, it's an open world game, it's a Far Cry. I don't care. It's looking really cool.
I mean, the best
They-
gameplay they've shown was at the Xbox show. Like, by
Yeah,
far.
well, yeah. No, it was a good showcase for some of the guns. It did confirm to us that
stealth.
the backpacks they had was going to be like a Destiny style ultimate thing, which is kind of interesting for a Far Cry game. Just more wacky. Just all the weapons we've seen so far have looked just awesome.
It's unhinged. They just really went wild
Yep.
with it, which I'm excited to see what the payout of that is. Also, gotta give a call out to that Far Cry Blood Dragon screen that showed up for like a few seconds and then just went away with no details.
Yeah,
What was
it's
that?
there. The game came
I-
out already, but it's there now.
I hope that it's not just Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon in there, just throwing it in
I
there
think
for
it
good
is.
measure, because that would just be the most pathetic.
It's so
like,
weird. Like,
Wow.
It is weird.
But yeah, I do
Also,
gotta
shout out to the
Go ahead,
Death
Wyatt.
Chicken. We gotta
True.
we gotta talk about the Death Chicken a little bit, because that guy was awesome. The companions. I don't know if we're gonna have any human companions this time around. Like, because all we've seen for companions is like we saw chorizo, we saw the alligator, and we saw the chicken. So I wonder if there's gonna be any human companions.
I don't need human companions when I have an alligator.
I'm gonna take chorizo and an alligator basically every time. So look, I don't
Why
need
waste
the
the
option.
budget?
How
Yeah.
about this perfect apex predator that hasn't evolved in hundreds of thousands of years? Stick 'em, boy.
Dude, give me like a crab. I take a crab. Let's go.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. There are a few other things I do want to talk about. Just some games that I don't think we're really going to talk about in the E3 wrap up, just because I don't think they were that outstanding, but things that are shaping up interestingly. One of those is Riders Republic.
Yes.
Sounds familiar.
It is Ubisoft's
It's the
brand
one-
Of the games I forgot.
extreme sports festival game of you going around
That's
doing
not
live
the
service things.
snowboarding one, right? Is it? That's
It's got
No,
snowboarding.
Shredders
It's
is
got a
not
lot
one.
of stuff. Shredders is the
It's
snowboarding one that was showed
basically-
today.
It looked like a sports sandbox game where it's just like, like BMX, like gliders and jetpacks and stuff. But instead of like a menu, you just have you get a nice open world to walk to those places or teleport to those places. It seemed like.
Oh.
Yeah,
And
and
that's-
it's
it
a live
seems like-
service game, from my understanding.
Yeah.
Of what they've shown so far.
It seems like fun with friends, which as long as it's not, if that game should be $60. But assuming
is my
that it's not,
biggest
it looks like
concern.
it would be fun with friends.
Yeah, I think it definitely looks fun. I'm excited to get more first-person BMX games so we can race down a hill and feel super queasy the entire time. It's very exciting for me. So yeah, I think that was a good showing at the Ubisoft show that didn't get talked about much. I think in general, we're gonna go and have some interesting things to say about like the ordering of the shows and what we feel was best when it comes to next week. Because I think right now, a lot of stuff surprised us and I think was better than we expected. I gotta say, Future Game Show and PC Game Show were not like amazing, but definitely not as bloated as last year and felt like a lot more games.
The big thing about the PC Game Show is that, I mean, you have those two cringe lord hosts, but I think the pacing is much better.
Are you saying
than
you
it's
don't
been
love Day 9 and
past.
Frankie? I mean,
I couldn't even remember their names until just now, so thank you.
I'm surprised you.
Look, it's because Day 9 is also a like shoutcaster for games. He's not just a host for the PC Game Show.
Okay.
What's a shoutcaster?
Sportscaster, essentially.
Like he commentates over like
esports,
yeah.
He did tons of StarCraft stuff. What are you oohing about, Alex?
That's a legitimate thing to do. That's a legitimate career, mister.
I'm not oohing that it's a career. I'm oohing that it's him.
As in, you wouldn't want to hear him shoutcast a game.
I don't like to listen. I don't like to listen to sports commenters.
I can tell.
Commentators.
Wow.
But no, I do think it because I think PC show always has good stuff to show off, but it's just the in between segments when people start talking. That's
30 minutes
awful.
of games
and it's a lot,
and like an hour of just inane nothing.
But it was a lot better this year because I think they kept the cringe factor to like a relative minimum, and it was more about the games, which I liked.
They kept the cringe factor to the like mandated advertisement stuff they had to do to produce the show.
You know what? They were like, oh, like next E3 we're gonna
talk about
this
death
weird
robots,
like space story that we have. It kind of felt like it kind of felt like they're kind of pulling from Devolver's shtick a little bit. You know, like it was a little.
Look,
strange.
I don't think having a running
like
gag and
Devolver
show
feel.
in multiple shows can be credited to Devolver. I think that has existed far longer than them. Just not often at E3 because like I've been to PAX panels before that have running stories every year. It happens a lot. And it can make it very hard to keep track of.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's a little strange.
Speaking of commentators, what'd you guys think of the Outer Worlds 2 reveal?
I don't know what to think because there's nothing.
Yeah.
I am happy that it is getting a second one because I enjoyed what I played
The
of the
first
first one.
is awesome.
That trailer looked very expensive.
Yes.
The guy sounded like this.
I want to say, okay, the funniest part about it is that it was obviously making fun of like other E3 hype trailers, right?
Yeah.
And it was like one for one exactly what we got with Starfield, and and it's all in the same showcase.
Oh my!
And it's the funniest thing ever, especially because it feels like just another dig at Bethesda.
It's wild that Bethesda and Obsidian are under the same umbrella.
I know it's like the bully at school. Like you have to see him every single day you go.
And then, Xbox is like, I gotta separate
rivalry.
you two.
Yeah, come on.
Oh,
hey, this does mean we have a much larger chance now of getting a Fallout Obsidian game again. So,
although let's have them finish Awoken or whatever it's
called.
Every time.
Was there any information on Avowed?
Nope.
I didn't see.
They showed about 6 frames of what was either new animation or animation that I forgot.
We saw it from last year. Yep.
There you go.
The same sword being lifted up and the spell being cast or whatever it was.
Yeah, I'm excited for all the stuff Obsidian has in the works, but they've got a lot in the works, and I don't think we're going to see any of it until earliest next year. Super hyped to go back to Grounded whenever that fully releases, because I've heard their updates are great.
Grounded was great.
I really do want to go in fresh once the whole game is there, because like we ran out of content very quickly when we played it.
Mushrooms, no, not that kind.
But yeah, that looks great. There were tons of indies that like I don't think we're not gonna have time to talk about all of them because there's so many of them.
A lot of
but
them
yeah,
look sick though.
the thing I do
My brain is
feel
mashed
pretty
potatoes
confident
right
about is
now.
saying that, like, if you're a person that would normally skip the PC game show and future game show, this is probably a good year to watch them.
Yeah, go back and watch.
Because they're a lot more succinct.
You can just mute it for when the
Yeah.
cringe hosts come on.
Even then, if your tolerance for like weird live event host stuff is pretty decent, you probably won't need to mute it. Like, I don't know. I think the Mech Warrior gags were a little bit funny at a certain point. But
I liked when they called their ship the Dogecoin mining facility.
yeah,
Because I literally I am at the level of brain functionality where I even think of Doge and I just smile. So that was the joke, and then for the rest of the whole time it was just like deadpan.
yeah, I do like they had a consistent theme, which I think does a lot.
Yeah.
Like they actually had
That's true.
a theming in the show.
They
and
got
it
in
wasn't
costume
just
and everything.
direct.
It was
They were pretty
adorable.
good costumes.
Yeah,
that
and
mech
the CG
thing
set
was
things
pretty
they
good.
used that also looked really good.
Yeah, I think a lot of good came out of the PC game show. We saw Harold Halibut, I believe it was called. That game, another standout for me. I love
What?
that they took claymation and did 3D scans of the characters, then mocapped them. That to me is like super
mocapped
clever
over it.
way of like doing that kind of style without breaking the bank of having to stop motion animate everything.
Huh.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like it's so clever, but it's like the kind of clever where it's like you're doing so much more work. Like you could have probably like sat in ZBrush for a while and gotten pretty good looking clay figures and then
Mhm.
just used that. But the fact that they actually used real clay
That to me says they
figures that
care.
were scanned in, it
Also,
means they care.
It also elicits the
know.
reaction of like, how did you even come up with this? Like, what
It's
madman
the kind of
thought
thing where
this?
it's
That's
like,
crazy.
I like knowing that someone built this thing out of like Legos or something, and seeing it, and like knowing that it's built out of little plastic blocks is like, how did you even do that? But like
Yeah.
seeing the Legos quote unquote behind how the game is made is like, okay, if I just went into the game and thought like, oh yeah, they probably CGI'd it or something, I would be like, oh, this looks pretty, but that's it. But knowing that they had to actually make it and scan it into the game, that's a whole new level of like appreciation.
Absolutely.
And yeah,
Especially because like all of us are
reminds
at
me-
least passingly familiar with how the process for like asset creation and importing goes. It's a lot of
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Wyatt.
What was I gonna say? I don't even remember anymore.
Great. All right. Well, we're gonna keep going then.
That's how mashed potatoes my brain is. I can't hold on to a thought longer than a couple of seconds, or
So that means it's time for our game. All right.
it just goes
We
away.
play a game on the show most of the time, and today we've got one major conference left. That is the Nintendo conference. I want each of
Yes.
you to give me a pipe dream for that Nintendo
God.
presentation. It has to be one that you think could happen. I don't want anything that's like so out of left field, like we're getting up an entire Mother 3 collection or some like crazy blowout or something. Look, don't set yourselves up for disappointment, but give me your crazy Nintendo dream. And for people that aren't huge Nintendo fans, give me your crazy Nintendo should do this weird idea.
I got
Oh.
some ideas. I got two ideas.
I
to
also
be-
have two, but one is very small.
All right.
to be precise. My first one is Zagreus in Smash Brothers. Would be
Yep.
pretty
That'd be pretty based.
sweet.
That'd be
I-
based.
Oh man, dude,
He'd be a fun
I can't even
character
tell you
too.
how excited. It works. He would work really, really well, I think.
Another anime swordsman.
God, just
Yeah.
God, yeah.
Give him every weapon but the
And
sword.
then
just
second
because
is
of that.
alongside. And then my second is kind of like an overarching Zelda thing. So alongside Breath of the Wild 2, which I'm sure they're probably going to show off to some capacity, I would love a Mario All Stars style Zelda collection
Yeah.
for Switch, which I think
All right.
is fairly plausible.
I'm gonna go. Alex, you went last time, which means I gotta get you in the middle here?
Oh God, I have not been active with Nintendo for a while.
Alex, I'm gonna say 2 words to you.
Mm-hmm.
Professor Layton.
Yeah, there you go. There's your answer.
I
Doesn't
think
have
I
to say
broke
anything
him.
anymore.
Sold.
No, yeah.
You did it
No,
for him.
you're completely right, Ryan. Can't be- I can't believe I had forsaken my Lord and Savior.
He's
Please,
very disappointed.
please, another game. I need my puzzles.
Dude, I want
I need-
a Professor Layton collection to play them all like in high res. That would be great.
Oh God,
With, like,
having them
remastered
all on the
art.
Switch?
Yeah. At least like the
Oh,
major
yeah.
ones. Probably not all of them because there are a lot of Layton games, but like
There's
pick the last 3.
there's the original trilogy, which is all 2D. There's the prequel trilogy, which the first one is 2D and the other 2 are 3D. The second one in the prequel trilogy could use a retouch on that 3D.
Dude, give me that remastered trilogy. I'd
Yeah.
be down.
There's also and something they did for the mobile release of one of the games was they added in a new cutscene. What
Wild.
was? Yeah. They for the mobile / re-release of Curious Village, they added in a new cutscene. God, what else was? What else? Right. We don't have to touch on the exclusively first mobile games. For that.
Yeah, we can forget
Um,
those ones.
There's that, and then there is now like Star Wars. Oh God, Professor Layton has the same structure as Star Wars. There
Pain.
is a
Pain.
sequel, hopefully trilogy, but there's just the first game in the new sequel, possibly series. But yes, please. Oh God, there's very little hope of that happening, but I want it now.
Pain.
I'm curious if Nintendo would show that at E3. I'm wondering, is Professor Layton, in Nintendo's eyes, is Professor Layton E3 ready?
I don't think it is. I don't think it's ever been an E3.
I think it could be. But they
That
need
might
to
be
not
the
announce
Treehouse
Fortnite.
Shadow
Ah.
Drop. They did not announce Fortnite.
Oh God.
Look, if those Metroid Fortnite rumors are true, we're gonna be getting more Fortnite in the
no.
Nintendo Direct.
I keep saying it. Keep saying it like I'll be happy, but I will in fact be extremely sad. I will not be happy. Ugh.
All right, Brett,
If
what do you got for
Zagreus
us?
is added to Fortnite before Smash Brothers, I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry.
My small pipe dream is Daemon X Machina 2.
All right,
Just make another one.
nice.
And that's just very simple. My big pipe dream is that we got the Link's Awakening remaster make thing pretty recently. And I think it would be absolutely amazing. I just watched my girlfriend die in Minecraft right next to me. It was very sad. I think it would be very interesting to see if they gave like a cool revitalization like that to
Oh, yeah.
Oracle of Ages and
Ooh.
Seasons, because I love those games and I feel like people barely even talk about them, and I just want I want to play them again. I don't know. It's one of those things where something about Game Boy Color games, they don't have the same, because I never had one as a kid, so I don't have the same like charm as like this is cute old time. Like, they just, sometimes if you're not in the mood, they're a little bit of a slog to get through when they're all gray or green and red and sad. So it
Shades of
would be nice
sadness.
to see some reimaginings. Yeah, shades of sadness, shades of scuffedness.
Oh,
It would be nice to see some reimaginings of those.
Yeah, definitely. All right, I'm gonna come out swinging with my
Yeah.
little pipe dream first. Give me a Gundam Breaker on Switch, please.
Ryan,
oh.
please, God, I'm waiting for Bandai Namco.
It doesn't even need to be a new one.
It's been
Just
like
give me 3 again.
years. Did that really is it. I would just take 3 again.
I don't even need anything new. Just give me 3 again, and I'll play it again on Switch.
Mm-hmm.
There you go, free money, easy.
Yeah.
And look, my biggest thing, I want to see The World Ends With You Neo. This new World Ends With You. I want to see a blowout at the Nintendo Direct. I want them to go crazy with Joy-Con mechanics. I want them to go. And this is ridiculous because that game is coming out on multiple platforms.
Yes.
Want to have some real Pog action.
But I want to see someone waving their Joy-Con around to cause things to happen on the screen. And just the dumbest thing possible. I want that to exist just so I can laugh at it. Because I love The World Ends With You, but man, the Switch ports control scheme is something else. It is wild. It works, but it is wild.
I can't wait for that to happen, and then I'm immediately going to message you just being like, dude, you called it.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
I can't wait.
I don't think that's going to... I would say I don't think the game's going to show up, but it didn't really show up anywhere else, so it might. But it's also almost out, so it may just not be at E3. But those are my little things.
Did they show it in the Square thing for like a second today?
There was
Didn't make that
like
up.
2 seconds of footage in the montage.
Okay.
But yeah, that game might be done with its press cycle because it's coming out very soon. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's done, but I also wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo does one more advertising push for it. You know, get that maximum World Ends With You out there. All right, that means we're to the final segment of the show, which is, Alex, you said it before, say it again.
Say it.
Do it.
Shout out.
You did it. Great. All right, I'm gonna start just to get it out of the way and give everyone else a moment to think. I gotta give my shout out to, I think I used the same shout out 2 weeks ago, but it just hit me again how ridiculous this is. And that's that a character from a book series now has a skin in Fortnite. Before that character has ever had any appearances outside of books.
From a book series.
From a book series called
which one?
Mistborn. His name's Kelsier. He's not even the main character of Mistborn.
What?
The thing that
What?
is utterly ridiculous to me is that this character has appeared in Fortnite as a skin, and this is, let me tell you, this is the only Fortnite cosmetic I have ever purchased because I want there to be a video game of this man. And I didn't
Even
actually
play Fortnite?
No, I haven't. I played a single match with the skin and hated it the entire time.
Dedication.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Wow.
But
Incredible.
I want to see a Mistborn video game so badly. So badly. Because there's been like 2 that have been canceled that were in existence at some
Man.
point. So I just think it's so ridiculous that somehow, because the author of that book series like knew the lead director of Fortnite because his daughter or something was a fan of the books, or some crazy story like that. And then they were like, hey, let's just get Kelsey here in Fortnite. I'm like, what? How does this happen? What? It doesn't make sense to me. All right.
Let's do it. It'll
I
be
love
funny.
it.
And we did it.
It's the biggest meme I've ever seen because Fortnite did like this big Twitter announcement of it and like showed a teaser image of the Mistborn logo, except nobody in the comments knew what it was because it's from a book. And then I went on the subreddit. I went on the subreddit for that book series, and the entire subreddit is like on fire because nobody knows what's
That's how
going
you weed
on.
out the illiterates if you don't know Mistborn.
We only want people who can read playing Fortnite.
Look, if you don't know the Cosmere, you're not a real book fan.
Ooh.
Right. Who else has got something to take me away from that crazy story?
I got one. Shout out to Insomniac Games as a whole, just because they released 2 games, both of super high quality, 6 months apart from each other.
That is wild.
They released Miles Morales like late last year, and they just released Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and they're both incredible. So I don't know how they do it. Kudos. That's all I gotta say. I'm kind of speechless. So
I know one
Yeah,
of you two
that's
has
it.
to be ready.
Me go now.
Yep.
What are you, a Fortnite fan?
I do not know the words to express my answer to that question because I am illiterate. Uh, so
yes.
I've been playing a game for literally last night and today that I know has existed for a long time, but it is really fun and free to play, and with the kind of complicated feelings as listed on my Facebook profile towards Halo, it feels very nice. Splitgate is a very fun game to play, and it's
Oh
free. Like
yeah.
I said, it's just Halo with portal guns. Uh, I don't even know the dev's name off the top of my head. But like actually, it is like phenomenal, fantastic. I don't care if you're sweaty. I don't care if you're casual. They got playlists for both. And play the game. It's good.
I remember playing a really early version of it on a PC, and I was like, I want to let this cook in the oven a little more, but it has a lot of potential. You know?
You should play it someday soon because it is very fun.
Yeah, I want to.
And it's free.
Oh my god.
I just need you to know. I just need you to know.
All right, Alex, save us from Brett's pit of Splitgate speech.
Mine's just really about
Fortnite fan.
unfortunately a personal issue right now. My shout out is just literally me screaming because my hand is back to being in searing pain.
Oh no.
No.
Art pain.
No, I grabbed a pan that came right out of the oven,
Why did you do this?
and my hand has been on ice for this entire thing, and I just ran
That's your
out
fault.
again, and skin is coming off in the aloe and ice cup.
Fortnite fans be like,
All right, with that, we're basically done. Look, we did promise to talk about the Gearbox conference, and I think I'm going to distill all of our thoughts down into it was bad, probably the worst of the show. Please don't prove that wrong, any publishers. Don't make a conference worse than that. I mean, it would be really hard, but...
Is it okay? But I do have a question for you though. Is it actually worse than WB's? Because WB's was
Yes.
so minuscule and nondescript that we had to remove it from our official.
Well, because
thing.
WB's is just one game, like it's Back for Blood, and it wasn't nondescript because it is like an hour long, but it's like an hour of just Back for Blood. But like that's not bad. That just means I think the misstep there was calling it a WB conference and not just the Back for Blood show.
yeah.
Because I think if you're into Back for Blood, like it was a very interesting bit
Oh
of
yeah,
information, but
I liked it.
it wasn't a
was
conference.
fun.
It's
That's
not
what
a
I'm saying
conference.
is, but that's what I'm saying is that it's like WB's was so poor that you can't even like.
Well,
argue
no,
that they
because it
made an
wasn't
appearance.
poor. It was just it's not a conference, so it's not going to be on the list.
That's that. Never mind.
It's not that it was bad. It's just not a conference.
But it was, but it was bad enough to the point where we can't even call it a Warner Brothers conference. You know, you see what I'm saying?
No,
Like,
I don't think it.
at least-
I don't think the conference is bad. I think they just named it the wrong thing.
I think the people that named it probably played Fortnite.
Exactly.
So they
So they're illiterate. We're sorry.
Those are
We
the
don't
people-
mean that.
I'm a comedian sometimes. That's why I have this spot on the show.
Oh, is that what
Yeah.
you call yourself?
Well, I don't know any other
someone
words
has
for
to be
it because I
funny
play
here.
Fortnite.
Look, tune in next week for our detailed impressions on just the Devolver conference. We're not going to talk about any of the others.
And it
Just
will be a
Devolver.
heated debate.
It'll be a heated debate with Brett just being very jaded and the rest of us having a lot of fun. So,
I'm truly, I'm the most scuffed of all.
Brett being a meanie poop pants that doesn't like joy. So, you know.
or Nina Struthers.
Piss boy.
Yeah.
I don't have a vendetta against any of the people that were there. Don't you put words in my mouth.
You could have fooled me.
Look, are you telling me you hate
Yep.
Nina Struthers rubbing hand sanitizer on her arms while Jason Momoa
Ryan.
carries her around?
And
Ryan,
rips off her sleeves. Don't forget
If
that.
I can win your trust back, I am almost in the mode to just drop everything and play Yakuza 7, Yakuza Like a
It's
Dragon.
on
now that
Game
it is
Pass
on
right
Game
now.
Pass,
So
because it is right now. I just need to plug in my Xbox
everyone
and
should play that
download it.
game. All right, with that, we're officially ending the podcast. This one, if you've noticed, has come out at a weird time because we recorded this during E3. We want it to be out during E3 so it's relevant when it comes out.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a longer than usual delay for the next episode just because the next one will probably be releasing at the normal time. There is some up in the air stuff with next week that we might need to look at, but in general, everything should be fine. But yeah, that's the end of the show. As always, podcast goes up Tuesdays, 7 a.m. Eastern. Subscribe to the YouTube so we can get a channel name, please. Do that. It makes it's very hard to link to anything right now because we have just a big string of numbers. So do that. It's free. Just do it. All right, that's it. We're done.
It's free, like Splitgate.
And like Fortnite.
It's not, Ryan can no longer call
Only
it a
like one or
free-to-play
the
game
other.
because Ryan spent money on it.
Actually,
It's a free game anymore.
I didn't actually spend any money on it because I bought Fortnite Save the World, which came with some currency for Fortnite PvE
so
Battle Royale.
Fortnite was